So tell us what Mary Magdalene means to you and how your novel reclaims her story.
She actually shows up more than almost any other character. And all even in the Roman rewrites, they can't erase her. If she's showing up that much in a patriarchal culture that's trying to rewrite the story, then she must have showed up even more before. She is much more in the Gospel of Philip, she is the teacher of the disciples.
Mm.
She's the person Jesus uses as his surrogate teacher. She's always given a lot of importance in any other text other than the canonical gospels. Even in the canonical gospels, she's at the tomb. She's the only one at the crucifix. She's the one anointing him, washing his feet. She's the one listening to him, asking him questions. So she is really present. In the 6th century, Constantine, initially Christianity is demonized, and there are a biodiversity of different Christian traditions. Most of them are women-led, in fact, and women ran to this counterculture because they were allowed to the table. In a lot of the early pictures of Christian meetings that are done in catacombs, women are the ones serving the sacrament. And a lot of people have gone in and defaced these pictures in recent years to try and erase them. But thank God archaeologists took pictures. But for me, Mary Magdalene represents something really, really interesting also, which is she has existed in folklore. Like, she was erased from the dominant. And so let me return to in the 6th century, when Constantine comes in, decides Christianity will become the religion of empire. He set something in motion, which is that suddenly we need to change this radical anti-imperial religion into something that works for a male-led militaristic paradigm. And it means that we need to sideline the women who have been in power. And if they're seeing if their role model is Mary Magdalene, we need to discredit her. So famously, Pope Gregory gives this sermon where he conflates the unnamed sinner woman in Luke, who wasn't even a prostitute. The word used for her probably denoted some kind of, she either had an illness or was a hairdresser. So even the jump to making her a prostitute is many mistranslations past.
Sure.
So conflates the unnamed sinner woman of Luke with Mary Magdalene. And he knowingly does that. He knows this is a mistake and he does it. And it sticks.
Wow.
And they really, Roman Empire does a really big job of trying to say she's sinful, she was a whore. I mean, I actually think that she's so powerful that she's like, yeah, give me the whores. I love them. I love sex workers. We're more powerful together. Great. So I think I think she's so wild. I think she's so powerful and so outside of the dominant paradigm that she doesn't reject that. She says, okay, yeah, these women definitely need a hero. So I oftentimes say, yeah, she could be a prostitute. She's fine with that. She doesn't think there's anything wrong with that. It's you who think, she'll throw it back at you. It's amazing. That's how I feel about her, at least. But I also do think that in France, in Europe, up until the Crusades and the destruction of the Templars and the genocide of the Cathars, you have a real dense undercurrent of belief that Mary Magdalene was a spiritual equal to Jesus. You can see it in iconography, in paintings, in folklore, in everything. In France, the folklore, she's more important than Jesus pretty much in France in terms of shrines and rituals and folklore. And, it took the church really hard work to go in and exterminate that again and again. And so for me, you don't get folklore that dense without a germ, without a seed. I have to think that there's so much myth about her. There's so much of a sense that she was someone who was important to Jesus and some sort of spiritual equal that we don't get that from nowhere.